afternoon. We want to thank you guys for joining us this afternoon. We know you had a lot of choices as far as attendance, so thank you so much for coming to visit with us and talk about the evolution of proctoring in an online environment. We also have folks joining us on Zoom, so thank you to you guys that are out there. I'm going to spend a moment just introducing ourselves. My name is Victoria Fowler. I am the mathematics department head on our Brenham campus, and I am also a professor of mathematics.
I'm Amy Winningham. I'm the assistant dean of the humanities division and an English professor.
I'm Karen Donald, and I'm a communications professor for the speech education department.
My name is Jamie Schrader. I'm the director of the Health Information Technology program, which is completely online, also a professor within health sciences.
So as you can hear, we represent quite a cross-section of our college. We're from all different disciplines. We are all QM certified. We've taken APPQMR, IYOC. We're all peer reviewers, and we serve as internal course reviewers within our inside of our college. So let me give you a little bit of background. We are from Blinn College. We are located in Central Texas. We have 6 campuses, which vary from rural to very metropolitan. This semester, this fall, we had about 20,000 students as our total enrollment, with our campus in Bryan, which is right next to Texas A&M, boasting our highest enrollment typically. However, our online distance education campus will have anywhere between about 3,000 to 5,000 students. And in the summertime, it's actually what we consider our largest campus. There's about 700 plus faculty members, and we've really seen rapid growth, like probably many of you have in our online courses. So with that, there's been a lot of challenges, as you know, which included proctoring and the need for some solutions to proctoring. So today, our goal is going to be identifying Standard 6.1 and how it supports Standard 3.1 and addressed globally by our institution. We'll discuss the evolution of proctoring at our institution and hopefully be able to articulate with you the benefits of using a college-wide proctoring policy. You'll hear that we will talk about our evolution in terms of like a fire theme, where we are smelling smoke and we're controlling the burn and eventually commanding the fire. Our presentation is about 20 to 25 minutes, and at the end we hope to have some discussion and be able to answer questions with you guys, including those of you that are joining us on Zoom. So again, thank you for attending. Let's look at the particular objectives in Standard 6.1. And 6.1, in case you don't have this memorized from the QM rubric, it says that the tools used in the course support the learning objectives or competencies, okay? 3.1 says the assessments measure the achievement of the stated learning objectives or competencies. So our goal as an institution was to be able to find a tool that would help us ensure the academic integrity of our courses, and then to give us confidence that our assessments were actually measuring the achievement of the stated learning objectives.
Okay, howdy y'all. I didn't get to introduce myself a minute ago, but I'm Brandy Ermis, and I'm the Department Head of Humanities and an English instructor. To start, you'll see on your table, we've given you some cards. There's a red, green, and yellow card, just like the stoplight that we have on the screen. And I want you to ask yourself this question. Where are you in your institution in proctoring? Are you none? Some? Or you are proctoring well? Okay. I see a lot of yellow and quite a few red, but there are a few green too, which is great. I'm going to say Blinn College is green showing. Woohoo! We just put a shout out for Blinn, which is awesome. Okay, now how are you yourself in your online courses or your blended courses? How would you rate your proctoring policies? Not for your division, not for your school, but you yourself. How are you in your proctoring? Do you proctor well? Yes. You have a proctoring policy and it's solid. That's green. Do you sometimes proctor things, or you feel like maybe I'm getting things under control, or do you feel like proctoring is an area that you need to work on? Okay. I just want you to know that we were in the yellow and red a few years ago, and we were really struggling with that. And we realized that we needed to change some things so that we would meet the QM standards. Okay, so we really want this to be kind of a discussion-based presentation. So the people you're working with, we really want y'all to kind of get together, and I want you all to talk amongst yourselves for just a couple of minutes. How do you proctor? What things are you doing to ensure that your course is proctored, that it keeps its integrity and it's secure? I'll let you talk for just about a minute, and then we're going to share.
You can walk around and listen to them. So I heard someone say they have honor lock coming.
They do it.
There's some people talking about honor lock. So
Give them a few more minutes.
no, I was just listening. So it's like you hear the paid vendors, honor lock. We have one midterm, stuff like that. So it'll be good. It's probably for the Zoom, yeah. I think.
Okay, so we love to hear the discussions that are going on, and we would really like if you would have one person at your table who would share one way that you proctor your exams. Yeah. Okay, so this first table, would one of you mind sharing ways that you proctor exams?
Okay,
Oh, awesome.
sorry.
Thanks.
Well, our instructors, and I'm math too, by the way, at San Jacinto College, and we provide either a comprehensive final exam that's 30 for 40% and require the students to come on campus to take that. Some do a midterm and a final that counts more like 50 to 60% of their grade, and they have to come to campus twice. And what we do is we give them two options. They know ahead of time when they have to come, where they have to be, and they come to campus, and our instructors proctor them. The other option is we can approve a proctor for them, whether it be a supervising officer, if they're in law enforcement or military, or they can go to another campus testing center that's local to them. In special situations, I have allowed their immediate supervisor at their workplace in some situations, because you're going to have some of that come up where people are on a business trip or something like that. So, and then I'll just add to that, we've pushed the ProctorU thing, and for the cost, our college won't go to it. We have a testing center there, but that's more for makeup tests and other things. They say they don't have the resources. And then the last thing I'll say is there is some talk about developing a testing center for proctoring online exams in the future, but I don't know if that'll ever happen before I retire. So that's it. That's how we do it.
That's great. Maybe one other person, another table, would they be willing to share ways that you make sure your exams are proctored, or how you proctor your exams? Oh, awesome.
Thank you. So we started with the lockdown browser like years ago, but it's not something we recommend for online courses for obvious reasons. It locks the screen that you're working on, taking an exam on, but you have access to a lot of other devices. Then we added a live proctoring solutions. I would say since 2014, we use ProctorU. But with that also, there is the cost. Our division will fund up to 2 exams, with the exception of math and maybe physics, where they have multiple, not just the midterm and the final. So we allow them to proctor up to 5 exams. Then recently, we received some feedback about the proctoring, the live proctoring solution may not be something that some other departments want because it puts the students at a very stressful situation. So we added Respondus Monitor, which is an automated proctoring solution. So we have multiple ones, and it's up to the faculty members to choose what works for them and also for their students.
Thank you, that's great. And a lot of things that y'all have said, those are things that we were also using. We have learning centers on campus, and so those were utilized. Only thing is, they're only open certain hours of the day. Of course, ProctorU paid vendors. We also did software like Tegrity, which is the lecture capture. And then for some of us, like I teach blended as well as online courses. With my blended courses, I actually meet them face-to-face, and they take their midterm exam with me. And then their final exam, they take using the proctoring system that we have now implemented. So, but some of my online instructors actually do face-to-face proctoring with their online courses. They give them that option too, like you said, where they can come up to campus and meet the instructor at a certain day and time and take it to, the hope is to secure your exam's integrity and to make sure that the person who is actually taking the exam is the person enrolled in your course. All right, so, yes.
Do you get some pushback if you're saying your course is 100% online and then you're requiring somebody to come on campus? We have a problem with that,
We
too.
don't require them. It is a choice. Like she says, you can either, if you choose to, I have this day and time available. Okay. If you would rather, you can come to campus and take your midterm exam with me, or you can use the online proctoring system.
They do have the choice
yes,
to use the online.
Do. Yeah,
okay.
We give them the option.
But yeah, we do a similar thing as well, where we make sure that they know we're providing you a service on campus. We're doing this for you, so that you don't have to go out and find a proctor to do it. And so that's how we get around it. Now, one question that I've brought forth with us is, my exam is an online exam, so it is on the computer. But, the question you might ask, I think if you read the fine print in our guidelines, similar to what you were talking about, it's to be 100% online, and then some people give a paper test when they come in, but that might be nitpicking, so.
Okay, so let's think about how we define proctoring, like what is proctoring? And so just for a second, with the people at your table, just come up with a definition. How would you define proctoring? What do you think must be included for it to be a proctored exam?
I think that's that guy's job with the microphone. I'm not going to do it. Sorry. No, he turns it off and on. And she's going to have to rein it in pretty quick. I would say,
Okay, so we're going to show you our definition of proctoring. We'll do that first. And then I want to see if your definition of proctoring is similar to the definition that we use. And we use the definition that states, a proctored exam is an exam that is administered by an individual or software who supervises the student while they are taking the exam. The proctor's function is to ensure the integrity and security of the exam in a secure environment. But also, to add to that, you must be sure that the person registered for the course is the person taking the exam. So that means you've got to have a government-issued ID, whether it's a driver's license or your school ID, to ensure that that is who is actually taking the exam. That's a huge component. Your definition, was it similar to what this definition is? Okay, it's huge, right? It's a pretty big deal. All right, I'm going to turn it over to Amy Winningham.
So, as you see on the definition, it was really important that we as faculty make sure that the integrity and the security of the exam is actually being protected. So, what we started noticing is that these little fires kept kind of popping up. One of them being, how can we with 100% certainty say that the student enrolled in my class who's been on the roster since the first day is actually that student who is taking the exam? In addition to that, how can I make sure as faculty that whatever directions I give my students as they take the exam are actually being followed? For example, if I tell my students you cannot use your textbook as you take their exam, are they using it? If I'm in a math class and I tell my students you can't use a calculator, are they using one? So how can we make sure the directions are being followed? In addition, if I say you cannot collude as you take the exam, am I certain that two students are not working together? Is a student who took my class before and they're with the student right now taking the exam? In addition, is there anyone in the room? I know Brandy shared a funny story with us before that. Going back to what we had said before Blinn instituted a college-wide proctoring policy, faculty were just trying to figure out what they wanted to do. I thought this would be proctoring, like time testing, I think I heard someone say. Maybe you think that's proctoring. Respondus lockdown browser, of any sort of lockdown browser, is that proctoring? So a few years ago when she was trying to figure out, okay, I have a fully online class and I think my exam is secure. You know, I've randomized my answers, I've randomized my questions, I'm using a lockdown browser, I think it's secure. Well, she was sitting in her office one day and a student walks in her office with a copy of the exam and said, hey, I have a question about this, answer. And she said, how did you get this exam? Well, come to find out, he was obviously able to print the exam, which then she thought, is my exam completely compromised? Was a student, I don't know, selling it somewhere? Was he sharing it with others? Was he sharing it with others in the subsequent semester? Making some extra money on the side, right? And not that he was, but the question of whether or not the test was compromised was something that we as an institution had to figure out and make sure would not happen again. In addition to all of that, came up with another fire that we had to put out was faculty issues. So because Blinn did not have a college-wide proctoring policy and faculty were kind of doing what they wanted to, some faculty decided that they wanted to make sure all of their exams were secure and made students go to some kind of paid proctor, such as ProctorU, which, as we've all talked about in this room, is at a cost to the student. So some students, on top of being charged to take that course, were being charged to have 1, 2, or all of their exams proctored. So if you're going up, and if you're a student and you're looking at two separate instructors, one who, I don't have a proctoring requirement. I don't have to be, charge an extra fee to take this class, versus someone's class who I might get charged upwards to $100. Which course might this student take? Probably the one that doesn't have any kind of proctoring fee associated, right? So we were noticing that faculty who have this passion for teaching online, who have gone through a lot of the QM training, and they have a really solid class, because of their proctoring requirement, their courses were not making, their load was being affected, thus their morale was really being affected. Like, why me? Why is my class not making? So we wanted to make sure that all these situations that were popping up with students and all of the ones that were popping up with faculty were addressed. So what we decided to do as an institution is Blinn formed this DLAC committee, which stands for Distance Learning Advisory Committee, and I'm going to turn it over to Jamie and let her explain that.
So as Amy mentioned, we have a Distance Learning Advisory Committee, or DLAC. We are all members of that committee. We meet monthly to discuss online distance learning problem solutions. We also submit policy changes as needed. It consists of instructional designers. Sally and Linda, please wave. Those are our two instructional designers there for over 700 faculty members. Remember that. Also, it includes our distance learning department, representatives from all academic divisions, academic integrity, admissions, and also IT. So how many of you at your institution have a distance learning advisory committee or something similar? About half, okay? Which, again, if you're offering online classes, I highly suggest having a distance learning advisory committee. So in 2016, our DLAC created a subcommittee for academic integrity. At that point, we weren't focused on finding a solution or a proctoring solution. We were just making sure that the student registered for the class was a student actually taking the course. And also making sure that courses across the departments were comparable because, like we said previously, it was all across the board. There was no consistency at all. Fast forward a year, 2017, the DLAC created a proctoring search subcommittee. Karen and I were both on that search committee, along with other representatives from the divisions, of course, our distance learning staff, our IT department, and our instructional designers. Over the course of 3 semesters, we proctored 5 different proctoring vendors. A few of those we already use, such as ProctorU and Respondus Lockdown Browser. And then during the fall of 2018, Blinn actually implemented a proctoring policy that stated that every instructor had to proctor at least one assignment worth 10% of the student's grade. And they could proctor it using any proctoring option that they could think of. Whether it was the student could go to the testing center, they could pay, such as ProctorU, to take the exam online. They could pay another institution to use their testing centers, or we had a proctoring option within our lecture capture software, which was very cumbersome, and I'll just leave it at cumbersome. Then fast forward another 6 months, so spring of 2019, the proctoring subcommittee, we finalized all of our research and wrapped up our pilots, and we had one vendor that stood out or basically met all the requirements that we were looking for, which was HonorLock. Has anyone heard of HonorLock before? Okay, so a few of y'all, good. And so the Distance Learning Committee agreed or approved it. Then, of course, it had to go on to our Dean's Council, our Executive Council, the Board of Trustees, and it was approved as our online proctoring option starting this fall of 2019, so it was brand new. So again, all instructors are still required to proctor at least one major assignment worth 10% of their grade, but now all standard exams, your standard multiple choice, true, false, short answer, fill in the blank, have to be proctored by HonorLock. Now math, essays, and speeches can be proctored a little differently, and we'll talk about that a little bit later on. Students can still go to the testing center because some students just freak out when they think that a webcam is monitoring them, of course. So they still have that option of coming to campus if they're close. They can even pay another outside proctoring location to go there if they feel like it. One good thing about HonorLock, they do run a internet speed. So if your internet is too slow, you can't even start the exam. And like we said, some of our students are in very rural areas and their internet is not very good, so they do choose to come to campus to take those exams. So on a side note, this was a very lengthy process, of course. We had strict timelines because we had to deal with budget issues for the next academic year, and we all know that the budget process starts very early the previous semester. So with the board support, they approved a testing fee of $25 for every online or blended class that the student registers for every semester. And that $25 fee will cover unlimited number of exams per instructor. Okay, so this fall was the very first semester that started. And again, our legal department had to be involved to read and review the contracts, of course, and it wasn't that difficult trying to get all the faculty on board. We had a few that dragged their feet, but I think for the most part, everyone's on board now with it. Our wonderful instructional designers held training sessions, developed training documents, and then we had to rewrite our syllabus for within our proctoring section or testing sections, and also update our LMS orientation modules as well. So we had to stop what we were doing, drop our current proctoring policies, and roll into a new college-wide proctoring policy. Again, as we stated, we just had too many fires to put out. Students were being charged anywhere from students were charged $25 per exam, up to 6 exams per class to be proctored using ProctorU or some other vendor like that. Our testing centers during peak days and times were crowded. Students were literally sitting in the hallways waiting for the next computer to become available. And then, like I mentioned, we had this lecture capture software that had a proctoring option, but it was very cumbersome. Even when the students read every direction to the T, it still had a very long uploading time. And then students would email you or call you in a panic, thinking that that their recording wouldn't upload, and then what would happen then? And we would just have to reassure them, just wait overnight possibly, and it will upload, which it usually did. But the bad thing was then we, as instructors, actually had to watch those recordings, watching the student take the exam. So think about watching a 30, 45-minute exam for 30 students times 5 or 6 classes. That is way too time-consuming. Luckily, we were able to speed it up a little bit, but still way too time-consuming. And then even with that proctoring option, again, it was linked to our lecture capture software. It was an extra step for the student. So if they did not do that extra step, they weren't actually even being proctored. So you had to make sure that your proctoring policy had a concrete statement of what would happen if that student did not actually be proctored or have the proctoring software activated, or what would happen if they were caught cheating. So now I'm going to turn it over to Karen.
So, woo-hoo, we got it. We're so excited. Now, we did narrow it down on the committee. We narrowed it down to the top 5 to top 3. And we had teachers piloting that throughout the semester. Then, usually I have no problems projecting, but the mic is going to be used. Hi, Zoom people. Usually, when we had the last day, we came in, on the committees, we brought those three people groups that we finalized it down to. We got to ask them questions. They did their show, their presentation, and we could find out really what are we really going to get that we got to play with. Now, do we really get it? And things like that. And we really went on, and we had excellent choices, and we were just going with Honor Lock, but we're not trying to push Honor Lock. We just want to tell you that it's a good product. So now, after any fire, the grass is starting to turn green, and we're getting all excited, and we're using it this semester. What we have found out, though, is some best practices that I'd like to share with you. You do need a webcam. The student needs a webcam. Most of them can find a webcam, but if they need it, they can go to it comes on their laptop usually, but they can go up to our labs. The software that we have verifies the identity and compares it to a government or ID, student school ID. Artificial intelligence is used to detect eye movement, body movement, extra people, and extra noise. And it's on we get 24/7 support with these guys. And so one of the funny things that we found out, and it flags, they get red flags when they're taking tests that teachers can look at later. But in the meantime, if there's a flag that goes up and they're shut down, they're sent to Honor Lock, which covers it 24/7, and they'll come back and reply within 3 minutes of what's going on and needs to be corrected. So that's pretty cool that the teacher does not have to sit and watch it and wait for it. One funny thing, though, we did decide was that we found out that one student had a T-shirt that had a face on it, and it shut him down. So, we got to go do some best practice tips, which our instructional designer has formulated a frequently asked question page for us that we have I guess it's a course that we offer, and it's called Help Central, that all the teachers can go to, and it's a wealth of information, and they're so great to keep it updated for us. So things like lighting, the student will just have a lamp on. The student will lay down on the bed. The student needs to sit at a table. The student needs to have some kind of clothes on. You're gonna, it's their exam, not mine, right? So those are the kind of things. Extra noises, if their phone's going off or if there's music in the background. I teach speech, and I've had parakeets going off while they're speaking, so I can only imagine what some things we'll see and learn before, more than the students, I'm sure. The recorded video, there are 24/7 support that I've already said. No scheduling is necessary for the students unless they really need it on their part, and as not a requirement. And then the nice thing too is that they start a search either on that computer or on their phone, it locks it down too. And it beeps and notifies them, and then it flags it for the teacher. So we're pleased so far, but like I said, we're in the very beginning of it, and we're finding out new things, and really new things. And so, yes, ma'am.
No, there's no scheduling at all. That was your question, right? Basically, you set your exam up just like you would any other exam in your LMS. And then there is an extension that's downloaded for Honor Lock, and then you click that extension, and then you click the exam that you're wanting to set, and then you click on settings, and they have probably 20 or so options. You can set it where there's no printing, lockdown browser, they can only use one monitor, they're going to check the IDs, they're going to check for no right click. I mean, so as long as you have that time frame that they can take the exam, they can take it whenever they want to. There's no scheduling involved.
And our Honor Lock is up on the blue tab. Our learning management system is D2L or Brightspace, and so they have it up on the tab in the navigation bar for Honor
Well,
Lock.
I think that's what's been rough as our faculty are looking at some of the options is that so many of the proctoring software, it costs so much more. If the faculty don't schedule it 60 days in advance and the kids don't schedule 2 weeks in advance to take it, who knows their schedule in that kind of situation? Right. And so then each test, I mean, you're lucky if it's $20.
Right.
It's potentially way more than that. And so how does Honor, Honor Lock does it by that's just the contract price, the university's paying that.
Yeah, and then they're charged a fee when they take an online class.
Okay.
And they take, that fee is paid per class. Like if they're taking speech and English, and they're getting a fee each time. So, yes, ma'am?
So do you charge just an online learning fee as well for an online class along with the testing fee?
Just the proctoring
time.
fee.
Just the $125.
There's not another online fee or anything.
Hi. So I've got 3 questions. So I'll start off with the first one. So what type of proctoring are you using? Is it automated proctoring, or is it just live proctoring, or is it delayed proctoring?
It is automated.
Okay. So it's not live proctoring, right?
Oh, yes. Well, Honor Lock has different levels as well. We did not pay for the live proctoring that would watch the student 24/7. We paid for, what would you call it?
Okay, the
artificial.
automated proctoring. Okay.
Yes.
Then the next question.
On campus for live proctoring if they so choose.
Yes.
They're given the choice, either Honor Lock or live proctoring. Sorry. I don't know if you heard me. Students have a choice. They can either come on campus and use the Learning Center or automated.
I'm talking about in online proctoring. There are 3 types of proctoring. Basically, online live proctoring, automated proctoring,
we just
and
do
recorded
automated.
proctoring.
Yeah,
So
we don't.
So you guys are doing automated proctoring.
Correct.
Okay. So what are the other software or what are the other systems that you guys test out apart from ProctorU and Honolulu?
We did ProctorU. Oh my gosh.
We did Smarter Measure, was it?
Because
Respondus Lockdown Monitor.
I honestly cannot even remember them anymore.
Because we have, we did a similar process last year, and we didn't have Honolog in our list, but we ended up selecting Proctorio.
Yeah, I think that was.
And I'm really interested in the fee structure which you guys are using, and I can share the fee structure we are using. So Proctorio charges us 10 USD per student per year, irrespective number of courses or number of exams, or the number or how long these exams are. So it's just $10 USD per year per student. Well, what's the fee structure you are using?
We're paying a flat fee, and I honestly don't even know that fee because that's above my pay grade. But we're allowed unlimited testing for whatever we're paying.
Which our discussion now is, our question is if we're only requiring one exam or one major assignment, then if they're getting the same, we're getting more bang for a buck if we'll go ahead and require all tests on Honor Lock, especially if it's at their convenience most of the time. They're not having to come on campus. We have a better more secure proctoring if we proctored every test, every teacher, every student that was online, or blended.
I
But we're
will
only
say-
requiring right now a 10%.
All science courses that are online, every single exam that they take, students take, has to be proctored. Every single one.
No, I was actually asking, like, maybe I was wrong at the beginning. I was trying to ask, like, what kind of fee is Honor charging your university
Correct,
for
yeah,
using
like
that?
I said, that's above our pay grade.
Oh,
I have
so-
no
And
idea,
and
honestly.
even the committee, you know, they gave some prices, but that was between the dean and the purchasing. That after we said, here's our choice, then
Okay,
it went to
all right.
purchasing and.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right. The last question I have, which we have a similar question from our students when we started to roll out Proctorio, was in terms of data privacy of the recorded videos from students. Because it's like for us, it's being stored in the servers of Proctorio, which is a third-party server. So, do you have similar kind of concerns in your institution from students about the recording of videos and the privacy and the rights to those recorded videos? Do you have similar concerns?
I teach speech, so maybe this is part of your question, is that we have, and I'm using Pearson, or right now we're also piloting Yeehaw, yeah, I just say Yeehaw. Anyway, I'm piloting that with my online class, and they had to sign off, or we post those permissions in our online, the security on our online startup page. And and public speaking, that is a different kind of speech, but we have 4 speeches that we require them to present. So, and that's 60% of their grade. So we are watching them give their speech. They have to show us their ID and present that. So that is us, we're proctoring 60%. So now I'm gonna go ahead and use HonorLock and go ahead and check that test, check their final exam. But on the videoing itself, that's where we're covered, is they know that they're taking the speech class, and no, we're not gonna transfer it. I don't use it without their permission. If I wanna use it as an example in the future, they have to give me a permission.
Okay, I was really referring to, so the video, the whole examination when it's being proctored is being recorded as a video file and stored in a server which may not belong to the Blinn College, but it may belong to HonorLog. Now, the thing is, in your normal student agreement, you have agreement with your student that everything will be with the
Right.
institution.
I assume we're gonna
but
keep
this
it.
data, this set of data, especially video data, is with another third party. How do you ensure the data privacy and of the student, that this third party vendor will not sell it to someone else or will not use it for the purpose which is not intended to, and for how long they're going to keep the data? So it's in line with, if you are aware, and I think you are aware of the GDPR, the General Data Protection Regulation, which came into effect last year. And yeah, so the thing we're doing at our university, we're trying to ensure, although we're not part of EU, but some of our online students are based there, and we're trying to ensure that we do not violate any of the GDPR laws. So my question was along those lines.
We're going to let Linda answer that.
I'm Linda Reed. I'm the instructional designer for Blinn. Part of our contracts when we were working with the company were that we asked who would own the videos, and the college owns the videos, even though it's cloud storage. The college owns them. They cannot sell them, use them, the data, any information. They cannot use the videos in any way. We own all the rights to the video. Also, we have a policy that students can appeal a grade for a certain period of time. After that period of time, the videos will be removed. So we have all of that as part of our contract, and it was part of the RFP, the request for purchase. Those were all questions that we included in the request for purchase, and all the companies had to address those. Does that answer your question?
So do you make that kind of information available to your students right before when the semester begins? That they will be proctored, they will be recorded, and it will be stored by a third party vendor, and the video will be stored for a certain period of time. Is that information explicitly made clear to students when they enroll?
Well, we have, part of the QM rubric is that there is a standard that addresses privacy policies. And so we have privacy policies listed for all of our products, and that is included in the courses. And then some of the faculty choose to specifically address certain questions beyond that, and they are welcome to do that. But we do have all the privacy policies listed in our courses, along with accessibility policies for everything.
So I'm going to turn it back over to Victoria, and we're going to conclude this session.
Okay. I'm not sure if you can hear me. Okay, you can hear me on this mic. All right, so just kind of wrap things up. You guys have those cards in front of you, and so we hope that you are taking away some ideas. There's been some great questions asked throughout this. Think about what you held up at the beginning of this session, what color card you had. Where is it that you want to be? Perhaps you're looking at yourself as an individual faculty member. Maybe you're looking at yourself as a department or just your institution. So really what we want you to do is think about that next step. Give yourself a timeline to do that, and if we can stay and answer any questions for you individually, we would love to do that, but we hope that you've gotten some good things from us, and we really enjoyed being with you guys. Thank you.